Alrighty, well, hello. Welcome to Unqualified Podcast. Happy New Year. I cannot believe that it's a new year. It's already 2026, which is literally insane. So I'm so excited about this podcast, as I've said probably 300 million times before in recent posts and stuff like that. But I get excited very easily. So this is really, really awesome. Well, I'm Emily Marks. I will be your host. And yeah, there's going to be so many wonderful conversations happening with this podcast. Um, a little bit about me: I am a musician in Massachusetts. I've been teaching since I was 16, teaching private music lessons, and I'm now 23. So you do the math. And yeah, it's been really cool. So today's January 1st. So happy new year, which is amazing. A year ago today, I got baptized, and that was pretty awesome. I grew up in a Christian home. I grew up. I became a Christian when I was 7. That's not true. I became a Christian when I was 5. I started writing songs when I was 7. So two big things happened at those ages. Sometimes I get them mixed up. But so yeah, I grew up in a very you know musical family, and it was just it was really wonderful because I feel like God. Well, he always uses things, but he definitely used that to shape me for who I am today, and I'm very blessed by it. So, what that's led to this past year with the baptism and then really diving into songwriting and music, I joined this songwriters online group hosted by Austin and Kel, and it's called Songwriters Unleash, and that has been so awesome. And tune in, we're gonna have some songs coming out, so that's gonna be really amazing. Really looking forward to that. Oh my gosh. I've also been getting settled into a music director position at my church. That has been such a blessing, and it's been really cool to see how um, you know kind of one can grow into that role, um, and learn about that. And I also, if you know the Gettys, they have this sing conference, and they launched their hymnal this year. Well, technically last year. This past fall, they had the sing conference hymnal launch, and I went with my dear friend, and that was super amazing. And so, yeah, that's just a tad about me, a tad about my year. I'm just really excited for a fresh start because this past year has been wonderful and growing in so many ways. I've been growing in so many ways, but I'm always like looking to keep growing. You know what I mean, in different ways, and I'm excited to see what's happening. Okay, so kind of to start us off, even though we kind of already started off, I started doing this thing where like I'm super into New Year's resolutions just for the sake of like, oh, trying something new and like all that good stuff. But last year I was like, no, we're done. We're not doing New Year's resolutions anymore because I can keep them. I don't like give up in the first week like, statistics say people do that a lot. But I just wanted to try something new because apparently I'm into that. So I did a word for the year, and for 2025, my word was peace. And that was really awesome because whenever I saw the word and like, reading the Bible or having conversations or, whatever, seeing it on a billboard, it reminded me of my year and like how that was what I was focusing on, and how, excuse me, God, like, you know, provides the peace. And I really learned, um, yeah, just how, like, where peace comes from. And it does not come from me at all. If anything, chaos in like flows over from me to everything else. So it was really wonderful to just especially focus on that this year. Last year, and so this year I was like very curious of what my word was. So for a while I was thinking of the word gratitude, because towards the end of the year I was like, man, God has done so many good things and I just feel so grateful. Like, I just can't contain it all. I'm just like so excited. But so I was thinking like gratitude, I think that can be my word for the year. And then I was like, that's great. But then I started reading a couple nights ago. I'm gonna grab my Bible over here one sec. um a couple nights ago I was reading Ecclesiastes. Lots of strings, one second. Okay, I think it was, I'm just gonna hear pages flipping. Let me just come out with this. Well, I can't find the exact passage I did. Oh, here it is. Okay, so in Ecclesiastes 2, I'm just going to read a little bit of it. I said in my heart, come now, I will test you with pleasure, enjoy yourself. But behold, this also was vanity. I said of laughter, it is mad, and of pleasure, what use is it? I searched with my heart how to cheer my body with wine, my heart still guiding me with wisdom, and how to lay hold on folly, till I might see what was good for the children of man to do under heaven during the few days of their life. I made great works. I built houses. I planted vineyards for myself. I made myself gardens and parks and planted them in all kinds of fruit trees. I made myself pools from which to water the forest of growing trees. And he goes on and on with all these things, and then dropping down to verse 11, he says, then I consider all that my hands had done and the toil I had expended in doing it, and behold, all was vanity, and a striving after wind, and there was nothing to be gained under the sun. And that sentence, there was nothing to be gained under the sun, really hit me, because it kind of went with the word that I picked out of gratitude, of what God has blessed me with. In my mind, it went with that because it came from God. All of my blessings have come from God. I just believe in blessings in general, just all of them come from God. But when I read that line, I was just like, nothing to be gained under the sun. That's very interesting. So then I started thinking of the phrase, being satisfied with God. And I didn't know how to gracefully put that into one word. And I was like thinking maybe gratitude could still go along with that. But then I was talking to my mom this morning, and she was just like, yeah, I actually heard a sermon about that recently. And the word abide came to mind. And I'm like, oh, okay, so maybe I'll have my word being abide. And so this happened last year too. I was like, oh, this is going to be a word. Totally forgot what it was now. But then it got changed to peace on New Year's Eve. And now I'm just like, oh, maybe abide will be. So to be very frank, I'm still debating. I'm also recording this like a couple days before New Year's. So I have a couple days to figure it out. I'll update you guys. But gratitude and abiding or abide are like the two words that I'm thinking of. They go hand in hand though. I'm really excited for like that new focus and shifts. Of course, with those things comes peace, like all of them flow together. Like the fruit of the spirit is one fruit. It's not like fruits, it's one fruit. So it doesn't really matter, but like I love to think about those kind of stuff. So I'm really excited. So yeah, having a word to focus on, especially venturing into new things, it takes the focus off of me because I'm not focusing on bettering myself, with air quotes for those who can't see the video. And yeah, I was thinking too, because I get so excited with New Year's. Like there's Christmas, holiday wise for me is my favorite. Christmas, and New Year's is like kind of really close to it because it's just like such a fresh start. I'm thinking about renaming Mondays New Week, and so instead of Mondays being like ew gross Mondays, it can be like, oh my gosh, it's New Week, everybody blows a party popper and then continues with their week. I think we should do that. I think we should get a couple people to get that started. So I have been wanting to do a podcast. I'm just going to take a sharp left turn right into the podcast. I've been wanting to do a podcast for 100 million years, at least since I was like a teenager. Like it's been on my heart. And I mean, I don't know if it was like put on my heart back then as a God sent you to do this, but it was one of those like, I really want to do this because that sounds so fun, and podcasts are. But yeah, I like a little bit, about my testimony. Like I said earlier, I grew up in a Christian family. I was homeschooled. And so I feel like whenever I put those two together, people are like, ooh, under a rock, but that's not always the case. But I had a really beautiful childhood, and granted, a lot of things happened with my family growing up after, my childhood part. And so that was really hard, but I feel like I've just been so blessed for so long. And so I always feel like for those who have gone through very different hard things earlier on, it's really hard for me to think that I can relate to them, or not even relate to them, but just be a witness to them. I always that made me think that I had nothing to offer, because I was like, oh, I had a great childhood. And so for those whose childhood like was really terrible, or things happen, like everybody has a different story and everybody struggles in different ways. But I thought that if I couldn't literally relate to somebody, then I wouldn't be able to be a light in their lives, which is a total lie. The more I learn about the character of God and the more I learn about how it all works, it's not about us, but that's just how my brain was processing that. And so I truly thought that I had nothing to offer. And so I was like, why would I start a podcast if I have nothing to say, or if what I say doesn't matter? And all these things are things that my mind is, or spiritual warfare, whatever it is, like all these things are something that I'm feeding myself, kind of, not, willingly, but just automatically. It's not like other people being like, oh, you have nothing to offer. Like I literally like came up with these things. I'm like, yeah, I guess I don't have anything to offer. Um, and so I just focused on how incapable and unqualified I was. And that's now the title of my podcast. And so, because I've been wanting to do a podcast for so long, I was like, well, I might as well make it about the thing I fear, because that makes sense. And, I don't know. I feel like God has a very funny sense of humor, because I'm not tech savvy at all. I don't feel like I'm good in front of cameras. Like I literally had to film this episode like 3 times. Like the first time I filmed it, I didn't have anything set up. Like I didn't have a mic or a light, because I just completely forgot. I was like, poof. And then the second time I filmed it, I hated it, because I was just like, I didn't say what I wanted to say. I didn't feel that good, like, oh, that was good feeling when I got done with it. But then this is the third time, and I prayed beforehand, so that was really helpful. But it really like drove home the God does not call the qualified, he qualifies the called. And so that's kind of what my emphasis for this podcast is. If I think a mission statement might be a okay way to put it, like, yeah, a mission statement just being like, I we are blessed to bless, for one. And two, so let me just back up for a second there. So saying we are blessed to bless, like whatever God gives us, we're going to give it back, either to him or to him in a sense by, giving it to others. Because like Jesus said, like whatever you do to these children, you do to me. Like whatever you say, like, he just calls us to love everybody. And so that's what my goal is in life, really, but for this podcast specifically. And also just to like hopefully be a space where people can relate, because it took me years to like actually get this started. Because it was like when I was like 13, 14, I was like, oh, that'd be fun. I'm never gonna do that, that's fine. And then when I got to like 18, 19, I was like, oh, I could do that, but I'm not going to. And then now I'm 23, and so I'm like, oh, I could actually do that. And then I went to Amazon and bought the stand and a light and a mic. I'm like, I can actually do this. I'm like, it's crazy. And then I spread the word, because I love talking about everything. And so all my family and friends were like, totally go for it. Like, send me links. They're so cute. I love you guys if you're listening. Well, I love you guys even if you're not listening, but I was just thinking, you know what I mean. Anyway, I'm so awkward. But so the goal of this podcast is just to be, yeah, again, a space to relate, for everybody. And I think everybody has that feeling every now and then, that they feel unqualified, or they don't feel like they can start something. Like technically no one is qualified at some point in their lives. You just got to start. You think of like, you know, God turning Saul into Paul, like Saul, a guy who hated Christians and murdered them, to being the most evangelical Christian there was. Um, and that is like really humbling too, because like I said earlier, in a different way though, it really takes the light off of me. It's not about me. It's just about how God uses us, because I firmly believe that God's will is going to get done no matter what. Like, and he invites us to come along, which how gracious is that? Just to like pause and think, like, God is going to do what he's going to do, but he wants us to come along. He doesn't need us at all, but he wants us to come along. And I think that's really amazing. So yeah, God has an incredible purpose for each of us, and his strength is our foundation. So when we really step aside and let him do his thing, or when we're clear vessels, A lot of people say broken vessels because we're broken people. God still uses us as vessels, which is insanely cool, which I love. And just thinking about, like, it's New Year's now. We just had Christmas a week ago. You think of like the Christmas story where God used Mary to have, to give birth to Jesus. And she was just like this 14-year-old girl, like, what? Like, but he used her, and she's not perfect, but he used her to bring like the Savior into the world. Like, that's amazing. So the limit to what God can do is none. There is no limit to what God can do. And our ability to just say yes is so important and powerful. So yeah, this episode is, I also talk really fast. I'm going to work on that. You can slow it down if you need to, because I talk really fast, but this episode is a lot shorter than the normal. Well, I don't know. It's going to be a different time. Any whatever episode we have going on, because I'm going to have some guests on. I'm so excited about that. It's going to be amazing. Because there's going to be a lot of awesome conversations happening. But at the end of every podcast, I have a song recommendation. And the song that is for today is called Take This Slowly by the Grey Havens. I have bawled oceans of tears. I don't know why I said mountains, but nature. Oceans of tears over this song, because the words are just so, like, it really hit home for me. And I listened to it for the first time a couple years ago, going through some really hard stuff. But the words to the chorus are, still I've heard all that I have in a moment is hardly a sign of everything coming my way. I believe when I need it, it will be mine. And so it's just like, ooh, that's really good. And it talks about like not needing these worldly things. Like, one of the lines is, I don't need fancier things I can't take when I go. I'm butchering it a little bit, but it's something along those lines. It's a beautiful song. Go listen to it. I'm gonna refresh my mind and re-listen to it right now, so I actually get the words right. But yeah, that's the song recommendation for this week. And yeah, thank you for coming on the podcast. I'll work on talking slower. I know I talk fast, but it's okay. We're getting qualified as we get called. So I'll see you guys next week. This is just a fun little intro episode, and I hope you have a great week. Thanks for joining.